Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Animated Excellence. I'm your host, Aniket, and today we have yet another guest star, as I never do. Say hi.
Hi, hey, it's me again. I've done one before, and I guess I'm
Yeah.
back.
Welcome back. This is eye8ball, otherwise known as Ethan.
So,
So he has a YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description, as I always do. Ethan composed the theme song for Animated Excellence. So even though he's only been on the show twice, he's actually technically in spirit been on here every single time.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's great.
I didn't actually know
So
you were actually gonna put that theme song in this podcast, so it was a bit
yeah,
surprising.
yeah, so the story behind that, you sent it to me for some other project that I was doing. And then a couple weeks later, when I was actually doing this podcast for a school assignment, I realized, oh, hey, that song would actually fit really well. So I asked you, hey, can I use it? And you were like, yeah, sure. Um, and it turned out really great. Yeah. Yeah, so that's cool.
It's been great. I
Yeah.
We were talking about how I should make another to go with the holiday theme. So you might hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we'll see. All depends on timing. So today we are discussing the recent animated remake of The Grinch based on the Dr. Seuss book. But before we do that, let's talk about something else real quick. Um, Clifford the Big Red Dog, the cartoon on PBS, and then also a book series, I think. I don't know, it's been years. It's getting a live action movie because Hollywood loves making live action remakes of animated classics. As a fan of animation, I really don't think these are great ideas, but I can definitely attest that some of these are better than others. The trailer for this released a couple days ago. Well, a teaser. It's only like 20 seconds. And we see the design for the dog, and oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that thing is a
It's
monster both before and after effects.
Oh yeah. So we looked at some pictures. We got some set pictures of the puppet they used for the actors to, get their line of sight. That's terrifying.
Mm.
And the actual dog is even worse because it's literally a photorealistic dog that is just color keyed red. It looks like it's colored in tomato juice for a less gross metaphor. It's disgusting.
Yeah, look at it if
Um,
yourself if you feel ready
if
for
you
the
need to prepare
terror.
yourself to see
Yeah.
that. It's truly a monstrosity. And the icing on the cake is that the movie is produced by Paramount, who also produced the Sonic movie, which, if you don't know anything about that, basically the original design for that cartoon character was completely butchered in the original trailer for the movie. It looked hideous, disgusting. They had to delay the film to make it look good. And to its credit, the redesign is a lot better. But Paramount clearly did not take any lesson from that experience and decided, hey, let's make another CGI monstrosity. Yeah. So it looks terrible. Um, oh,
My question is
it's
why in the world everything needs to be made in live action now? Like that just isn't needed.
It doesn't make sense. Like, okay, I hate the Disney live action remakes, but at least there's some purpose to it. Like, apart from making money, they also have the purpose of, oh, this will appeal more to adults, even though the movies are dumber in live action than they are in their animated form. Whatever. They have a purpose. But with all these, like, there's the Sonic movie, there was that Tom and Jerry trailer, and then the Clifford movie. These are all very aimed at children. But why are you making it live action? Children much prefer cartoons. So what's the need for live action hybrids? This style rarely works. It's always like you have those Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, the Hop movie that I shut off after 25 minutes because it was so terrible. These movies are just very low quality. I'm really baffled as to why Hollywood keeps making these.
Mm-hmm.
but I guess that's the world we live in.
See, some things I gotta say look better in live action. Some things look both good in live action and in the original drawn animation. Some things like Clifford, that's just too unrealistic to look good in realism.
The full name is Clifford the Big Red Dog. The only thing that is realistic about that sentence is dog. Big and red? Absolutely not. No.
I mean,
I
except
do
for the
not wanna see that.
drink. Except it looks like he's been covered in the drink. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we have discussed that. Check it out if you want to. It's terrifying. But now let's switch our attention to something that's not terrifying. The CGI animated remake of The Grinch. As we said before, it's a remake of the Dr. Seuss book. It had a 1960s something TV special, which is very well known. Then there was a 2000 live action remake starring Jim Carrey, and now we have this. All right, so here on Animated Excellence, we have 4 different categories for discussion: story and characters, visuals and animation, voice acting, and spoiler talk. So let's go ahead and kick the discussion off with story and characters. What did you think of that?
All right, I actually took notes this time. All right. So, characters straight off in the movie, it shows these birds with skis, which just the animals all throughout I find are like really creative, and just they all have their own character to them.
Definitely.
The Grinch, his story was a little more well defined. In the newer version, I question as to like where he came from. I think the Jim Carrey version goes more in depth about where he came from. I guess it gives a little
because he is
better
like a weird
explanation.
creature that
That
doesn't
just like
match with anything.
it doesn't make any sense. Like you look at the Who's and the Grinch just does not connect at all, and it's a little weird. So it is really hard to like describe that, but mixing them together would be pretty hard. I do think he could have been better. I think he was a little like too colorful for being like such a grumpy dude. Just like his physical color, I feel like should have been a little dimmer.
I personally think the bright color works because this movie is trying to be more brighter than the more darker hued live action movie. But yeah, I definitely think personality wise, he definitely wasn't mean enough.
Yeah, I was also gonna say that he was like to Brinklebaum. He's like, yeah, and then he would like turn his back to him and be like, "What this stupid guy?" And I'm like,
he's like a real person, a little bit. They're trying to make him relatable, and at some points it kind of works. But like, there should have been more of him being mean. There were a few scenes where he kind of was mean, like when he spit the pickle back into that jar. I mean, kind of, I guess. I guess he kind of
aggressive.
Yeah, I guess he low-key killed a person at one point in the film, like with when he launches that person into the air. Like, yeah. But apart from that, he doesn't really. I sound awful. Like, he low-key killed a person, but he's not mean enough.
He must commit more murder.
Yeah. But yeah, overall personality-wise, he was too nice. Especially to his dog. He was very nice to the dog.
Well, I don't think it's bad for him to be nice to the dog because like the dog is the one thing that's connected and close to him. So I feel like that is at least okay for him to be somewhat nice to. But like he was way too friendly with the Who's.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. With the dog thing, I feel like that is a good approach. But I also feel like from a story perspective, they could have been a bit more. It could have been a bit more deep if they tried. If like he started being more mean to Max and he didn't realize it, and then in the end when he realizes, I've kind of sucked for all these years, and I've treated my best friend terribly. That I feel like that could have been more of an arc. That could have been explored,
there
especially
was one
considering
point
there's a
where
lot of padding in the movie. So yeah, but there was one point, where he was mean to him.
There was, like he was like the piano part. I did look at that one, and I did think, even with the dog, he like apologized to him, and I thought that was a little out of character.
Yeah, like 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. You're a good dog. I was like, what's the point of this? But yeah. I personally thought this was a decent adaptation. I personally prefer this to the live-action Jim Carrey version. I definitely think that this is a bit more softer-edged than that. Perhaps maybe a bit too much. But it's okay. I found this to be a very pleasant movie. A lot of people don't like this movie. That's why I'm podcasting about it, to kind of defend it. For this more softer edge version, you could argue it's not as entertaining. But I could see this being very good for, like, seeing more of a character study into this character. I feel like there's that scene where he is in the middle of the town, and you get this flashback to his past. I thought that was very well done scene. I know voice acting isn't until later, but like the next scene where he like declares that he's going to end Christmas, essentially. He's going to try to cancel Christmas. That scene is legitimately terrifying. Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job. Yeah, it's okay. Here's kind of how I define the movie. First 10 minutes and the last 40 minutes are solid. Everything else in between is kind of just filler. But I think the ending, which we'll talk about more in spoiler talk, I think the ending is well worth the filler to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah. Anything else you want to say on story and characters?
Yeah, there was another detail about the Grinch. You know how in the song it's like talking about his like yellowed teeth and stuff? He's got straight white teeth in the movie.
Exactly. I mean, in the music video for the song, they close up on his teeth and they're pearly white. I'm like,
they're perfectly clean, super straight. I'm like, what?
The Grinch is better at brushing than I am. Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. The song, I really did not like the rendition of "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." I did not like the rap version. I liked the credits song because it was kind of new, but I thought it was it was nice. But the artist's rendition of
strange.
Yeah, the rap version of the title song was strange.
It wasn't completely horrible. There were some good points, but it was a little strange.
Yeah, there's some little like bits with the instrumentals and some parts where I thought, okay, I can see why you might think rap is a good idea, but overall I didn't enjoy it too much. But yeah. So moving on to visuals and animation, which this movie does unquestionably well. What'd you think of that?
All right. First things first, the snow. That was really good. You can especially see it, the part with Fred when he's like goes under the snow. Flawless. It's
say what you will about Illumination, but you can't deny their texture work, their effects work is absolutely phenomenal. Even on my third watch of the movie, which was for this podcast, I found myself blown away by the snow effects. There were some shots with like water, just texture stuff like that looked fantastic. Same with the fur effects on like the Grinch and some of the characters with their hair. That looked really good. But for me, while everything visually rocked in this movie, it was a gorgeous movie. What really made this movie so good was the lighting. There were so many scenes that had gorgeous lighting. There's that scene in Whoville where you see they light up the giant Christmas tree, and oh my goodness, it's so gorgeous. I saw this in theaters too, so I really enjoyed seeing this movie visually. Yeah, it was
like
great.
like you said, the fur, yeah, just everything.
Yeah.
There were some questionable spots. Um, uh,
Like what?
so the again on the snow, when close up it looked really good, but from far it looked a little too fuzzy to me. And I guess that sort of goes along with the style
Yeah.
of it. It just felt a little strange to me.
Yeah, you could make that argument. Also, what I liked about the movie was the production design. Like, the original book essentially takes place in the Grinch's cave and the city of Whoville, which is essentially a few houses. But I think the team did a excellent job of expanding the locations. You see a lot more of the Grinch's cave. He has these innovative gadgets. I think the angle of making him an inventor was a nice little addition. And then just the huge city of Whoville and all the Christmas lights and everything. I just thought was a wonderful way of
I
expanding
have got
the
to
world.
talk
It
about
was
like
great.
the inventing part. That chalkboard. I love that part. The huge
Which part?
chalkboard, and he flips it around, and all it says is Santa Claus. It's
Just
like,
Santa Claus in
I
tiny
mean,
words.
you're not
Yes.
wrong, but that's all you came up with.
All night. And I love how impractical it is. It's like 10 feet up in the middle of the board.
Like the
Yeah,
fact that he
that
would've
was a
had
funny
to
gag.
climb a ladder to ride it.
Just the word Santa Claus in tiny letters. That gag was great. Yeah. Yeah, truly visually really great movie. Just wow. Yeah. So anything else you'd like to say about that?
I don't think so, no.
No? Okay, great. So now we're gonna move on to the voice acting.
All right.
So what did you think of that?
So, Brinkbaum sounded really excited. Fantastic. Loved that.
Kenan Thompson is an SNL star, and I really think he should do more voice work.
And sorry if
Yeah.
I when I don't say the names of the actors, that's just because I don't know the names of any actors. So I could probably say Timmy, and yeah, I'd be very wrong. But let's see, the Grinch. Again, I feel like his voice was a little too clean. He should have been a little more scratchy.
Yeah. Especially given the actor. I'm going to give you who the actors were. Benedict Cumberbatch is a really good actor. I've seen him in a lot of other stuff. And I was really excited when I heard he was going to voice the Grinch. But then he used this American accent that was very nasally. He's British. Very British. I'm not sure why he... Actually, the producers wanted him to use a British accent. But then he said... well, the Who's are American, so why should the Grinch be American?
He's
but like,
not even the same species.
Isn't the whole point of them? Isn't the whole point that he's separate from them? So like, using the American accent really feels like a bit of a cop out, and kind of like kind of feels more bland. Yeah,
Just like adding that little
I don't
bit of
agree with that
diversity
decision.
would have
Yeah.
definitely made the Grinch more
I will
unique.
say that one scene where he announces his plan to to steal Christmas or whatever, that scene shows his acting range. Like, he can act. He could play a terrifying Grinch, but that's the only scene where he does it. Like, during the scene when I first saw it in theaters, I actually got chills. Like, wow, he can act. Then he never does it again.
Yeah, and I think that's also mainly due to like the story creation. How we were talking about, it was a little too soft and a little too kiddie, I guess. It doesn't really let him bring that out, so you got to give him a little bit of lenience there.
Yeah. Also, during some of the more emotional scenes, I thought he did a pretty good job. But yeah, mixed bag. kind of there. I liked what was it? Darn, I had someone and then I lost it. Rashida Jones, who voices the mom, as a Parks and Rec fan, seeing her in this movie was kind of cool. Like, hey, I recognize you. Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, that's it really for voice acting. What'd you think of the kid, Cindy Lou Who? What'd you think of her?
All right, so first things first. I'm really happy she didn't sing like in the first movie.
Yeah, that song was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. That could have been removed. And yeah, she seemed really, just talking about the character mainly, she just seemed like a really young child.
Yeah, they actually did get a really young child to play it. Like, I think she was like 6, I think.
It's like, I don't think any 6-year-old's gonna catch Santa Claus. But, you know,
yeah,
she did
but
it.
Like, that kind of wishful thinking. I'm surprised she succeeded.
Yeah.
But yeah. I thought the voice actor, I forgot her name already. But she did a good job in capturing that energy and excitement that a young child will do, even if it's a bit too optimistic. But yeah, overall, pretty solid voice cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else you'd like to say on that?
I kind of missed something, but you know that point where they're testing out the trap for Santa? And that kid loses his clothes? I'm kind of surprised everyone just sort of sat there and just quietly looked. Why wasn't there some like shrieks or something? You know, just a little weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really weird bit. The kids in my theater laughed at that joke. I was kind of just like,
can I still eat the cookie? Dude, that's what you're worried about?
That's what you're worried about. Yeah, real weird bit. Definitely don't think that was needed. Yeah. All right, so moving on, we have spoiler talk. We're at that point. So if you haven't seen the movie or read the book,
get out.
Click away so you don't get spoiled. I would definitely recommend this movie. Check it out.
Yeah.
But for those of you still here, let's talk spoilers. What'd you think of the third act ending stuff?
All right. So I'm gonna start like when the Grinch starts to steal Christmas.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
The inventions, like, it really brings out the point of that and like why they made him an inventor, and that was really cool. Not gonna lie.
I loved that scene. It was so creative. Loved the gizmos and gadgets and stuff. Seeing him steal Christmas, he looked legitimately cool.
Now I'm like, I want to steal Christmas.
I want to steal Christmas now. Yeah.
But yeah, moving up, he just goes through all those houses like nothing. No one notices. So that scene alone was enough to make people want to watch it again.
Yeah, definitely. If you don't watch the full movie, at least find that scene. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to like the Cindy Lou's house, he gets caught like a big dum-dum. And all throughout the movie, he sort of like gets like that connection from his childhood. I feel like it like somewhat cuts into his personality a little. I feel like he as the Grinch would want to forget it more, and so something like that wouldn't happen so much. So.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clever to use the child's kind of innocent perspective as a way to convince the Grinch of his wrongness. But yeah, I can kind of feel like that could come across as a bit cheesy, but I liked it. I thought it was a neat narrative
it was
device.
good that he like came around noticing that like Christmas isn't about the gifts and stuff. And that was also really done in the Jim Carrey film. Like just them like realizing that that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. I thought the ending was pretty neat. That Christmas stealing scene was fantastic. My favorite part of the ending, apart from, of course, the Christmas stealing scene, was the very last scene where he's invited to the Christmas party. That's a really nice scene.
I do love that.
I really liked how he kind of realized why he was so bitter and angry all those years. And I just really liked that character shift. I'm sorry. It was just really great. I've heard some people unironically cried during that scene, and I wouldn't blame you if you did. It's really heartwarming. I really liked that scene. I think it kind of redeems the kind of boring kind of second act of the movie. But yeah, it was really great. Yeah.
Again, I know I keep going back and talking about like this stuff we've already talked about, but again, like if they had made him more of a mean guy and more like dramatic on his life, that change from him realizing things would have had an even greater effect on people.
I definitely think that was possible. Giving him social anxiety at a party was the most relatable thing about him. Like him pressing the doorbell and thinking, "Oh, this is a bad idea. Everyone's gonna hate me." That is the most relatable thing that has happened in a movie.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is my tie good? Did you like my tie?
I wore a tie.
It's also like that.
Yeah.
It just how his clothes just look like normal him. And he just looks naked all the time. he just walks up to the door and he's like, "How is my tie?" And they're like, "Are you wearing pants? I can't tell."
Yeah, no. In the beginning of the movie, he put on pants that look exactly like his normal legs. Yeah. It's confusing, I will say. But I still think that scene was really neat. Cool. So, any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to add?
All right, I had a serious question, I realized. So, he hates Christmas, right?
Yeah.
The scene where he's trying to become Santa to take all the presents, he goes to his library, and he's gotten a Christmas almanac. Why does he have a Christmas almanac if he hates Christmas?
I don't know. Maybe he went to Whoville again. I guess that scene would be boring to watch, so maybe they cut it out.
Possibly.
Or maybe he bought it intending to burn it and then decided not to.
He forgot it burning all of his other Christmas books.
Yeah, he just has a Christmas almanac. Like, what? You don't have Google, Grinch? Like, this is supposed to be the modern Grinch movie. You have buses and trams and stuff, but you don't have cell phones.
They've got giant machines that make giant piles of snowballs. I mean, come on. No Google.
Yeah, come on. You could have had Google. Or you could have made a terrible pun like Hoogle or something. If you didn't want to get the brand right.
Perfect. Oh my god.
Would have been a 10 out of 10 if they did that pun.
They missed out so bad.
They missed out on the pun.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening to Animated Excellence. New episodes out whenever I feel like them. All right. Well, see you next time then. Bye.